Are they teasing a remake of RE5, do you think? I would be very surprised if that comes to fruition. I really would. Resident Evil 5 was lambasted when that came out. But maybe they're going with it. I saw Excella on the screen. Now the Wesker tease there wouldn't... It's more of a surprise that they seem to be talking more about RE5 than Code Veronica, because I think this game was after Code Veronica in the timeline. So, wow, they're teasing RE5, are they? Would they really go there? I think, like I said at the beginning of the, like I said in the demo, I think Code Veronica is a given. I think they will remake Code Veronica now. I'm almost certain of it. Because, like I said, Capcom is really milking the Resident Evil remake trend for all it's worth. And basically, they've basically done every classic RE game and remade it. 2002 remake of Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 2 came out a couple years ago. Resident Evil 3 was about 2019. Resident Evil 3 was a couple years ago. And now this. Yeah, I reckon that they're going to do RE Code Veronica for sure. But if they do RE5, wow. Wow. I would be very surprised if an RE5 remake comes out. That would surprise me more than this game would. That really would surprise me. I would take it. I loved RE5. So I would take that big time. I would actually take that. And I wouldn't even mind Resident Evil 6 either. I think unfortunately I've missed the English voice cast. But I want to give, and I'm going to gush again, but I want to give the woman that did Ashley Graham the biggest props. Really, she was sensational. What they did with Ashley Graham is sensational. They took a character that almost no one liked. Everyone thought she was an annoyance, and they changed her completely for the better in a huge sense. Ashley Graham is the biggest upgrade for this game for me. I mean, I had no problem with Ashley, but the upgrade she has in this game, oh my god. She for me, she's the highlight of the whole game. I'm serious. I know I've really gushed over her a lot in this playthrough, but it's because they did so fucking well. So well, dude. She, like I said, she had the upgrade in this game that Leon had in RE2 main. And Claire even. But yeah. What do I say? Do I say what I kind of want to say here? Do I say it? I think in terms of how much was kept and how much changed, despite keeping the core essence of the game, I think this is slightly ahead of Resident Evil 2 make. I do. I really do. Yeah, there's no separate ways. Yes, the Mercenaries mode is going to be released in April. Yes, there's no assignment Ada, but that's compared to what was cut in RE3. Wow, that's a big there's a gulf there. Resident Evil 2 was okay, you know. Resident Evil 2 felt the same, you know. Everywhere I went, I recognized it. But like I said, the biggest letdown was the story and the way that both scenarios really played out the same. And the only real difference between the two was where you started. Whereas in 1998, when Resident Evil 2 originally came out on the PlayStation 1, on 2 discs, by the way, the A and B scenarios were totally different. Totally different stories. For example, right, in Claire's story, I don't think Sherry ever gets infected. I don't think she ever gets infected at all. whereas in RE2 original she does. And in both Claire's stories in Resident Evil 2 Remake, she's infected. But in the Resident Evil 2B scenario on a PlayStation on a disc, the story is totally different in the two scenarios. And the remake doesn't have that. But literally everything for this game is a T. And even they changed things. The Salazar boss fight was different. The Salad boss fight ended up being the same. And the whole It thing was completely cut it all, completely. Which I think I understand, because, you know, it's not something that they would have missed. You know, everything that was, like, that needed to be there was there. You know, Krauser, Ashley, Leon, Lewis, the Merchant, Salazar, Hunnigan even. I think one thing I would say though is that Sadler really doesn't appear until the end of the game, really. And Ada doesn't have that big a role either. But then again, I don't think Ada had such a big role in the original game. But then of course we have Separate Ways, which was Ada's story, which I never played. I never did a playthrough of that, so I might have to do that. But wow. Resident Evil 4 is how you do a remake. It really is. It's how you do a remake. You keep everything locale-wise, character-wise, story-wise, it's all the same, but the gameplay is a revolution compared to the the original game. It is completely different. This is a completely different game in terms of feel, and I love it. The gunplay, animations, I love this game. I love this game more than the original game. I'm serious. I think this game is leaps and bounds better than the original game. And I think that's probably what they were going for, you know. So, Capcom, that's probably what they were going for, and they succeeded. Succeeded in every expectation of how this game was made better than the original. Oh, now another piece. What's this? Oh, it's Hunnigan. Without her glasses. So it's kind of like before the last radio call. But they don't add that scene.
Good work.
Yeah, B. I expected that. I don't know whether that was because of the first aid sprays I used. But wow. The Prince Type costume for Leon. Sunglasses. Faux mask, I like that. Flag cap, is that? That's for Leon's jacket, I think. That was only 37 minutes, but that was obviously just the boss fight. So, do we have like game results? 21 hours, much longer than the original game was. Well, not was, but this playthrough was certainly longer. Loading a main story data from a completed playthrough, you can carry over the data and start a new game. You'll be able to purchase new weapons, but you cannot achieve an S rank. Fair enough. Okay then. I would definitely go back and do that. Definitely. I would even do a hardcore. I might even try hardcore with this game. But, oh, I like it. That's a reference to the original game. I like that a lot. Professional mode. And this is the music from the beginning of the game. So professional mode, just like RE4 original. No sign of the soundtrack swap, unfortunately. Full vocal version. Oh man, I don't even remember her name. I want to find who Ashley was. But yeah, special shout out to the woman who played Ashley, because wow. She was by far the best part about this game. I like that. I like that secondary screen. Resident Evil 4 Remake, definitely I think is my favorite one personally. Is it ahead of 2 or level? I don't know. I can't say, because Resident Evil 2 just holds a special place in my heart original wise. But Resident Evil 2's scenarios, like in the remake, was exactly the same, and it kind of let it down a bit. So I think in terms of the story and how true to the story of the original it was, yes, I would say it is better than RE2, because RE4 is essentially the same game in a sense. The story's the same, but the subtle changes are actually quite interesting. Like when Krauser killed Lewis, for example. That was a twist, and Lewis kind of outstayed his original game's time that he had in the original game. But yeah, just wow. The gameplay is just my favorite thing about it. I love the gameplay of this game. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I mean, the only real thing was the evade, but that was more just my shitty reaction time and everything. It wasn't anything to do with the controls. You know, I think if I'd been a controller, I probably would have been a lot better at pressing the buttons, because even though I am more predominantly keyboard and mouse these days, my reaction time in terms of pressing buttons is quicker because the buttons are right there. See, if I'm using my left hand to press W and shift to run and the mouse to move, I basically have nothing left to bring down and go to C. I'm using my left hand, and that's obviously my weakest. So the controls are fine, but for me they were troublesome because of my issues. It was nothing to, well, not my issues, but my disability. It was nothing to really do with the game. You know, the game is fine, and I probably could have mapped it better. Maybe I probably should have mapped it better. But like I said, if I had mapped it to like Q, then I would have been doing that on. Maybe Q would have been a good button to have, though. Oh, I didn't think of that. Maybe Q wouldn't have been so bad, because I'll show you. I'm going to go on a long outro here. I'll show you. Let's see. I like this music. So, yeah. Shit. So I screwed myself because I read that, but I didn't think evade was going to be such a thing still. You know, because the parry is the new mechanic of the game, so I thought the game was going to really push that, and evade was just a thing you had to do, I don't know, for a couple other attacks from boss fights, which it was, technically. Maybe I should have set that to Q. Oh, shit. I mean, I did it. That's one thing I do like about this game. Even though they have a bunch of new mechanics that they really want you to use, like the parry and all that, the way you can play the original by shooting them in the limbs and meleeing them still works. That's what I really, really like. The fact that the way I played it still works and was still viable, even though they had new mechanics that they really wanted you to use, like the parry. They really advertised that in the production of this game, leading up to the game's release. They really had, like, showed you how you can parry the chainsaw and parry this and parry this and parry this. And it was just like, it was the big thing they wanted to emphasize with the knife, and obviously with the durability and stuff like that. But my way of doing it still worked, and I still beat the game playing that way. I tried to use the parry, I sucked for the most part. I sucked. This was not the best playthrough of RE4, mate, by any means, but that's not me on a personal level. That doesn't deter my enjoyment of this game and my love for it, because those were a physical thing for me, which I expected going in. I'm always going to struggle with something because of my cerebral palsy and physically and all that. So it doesn't really like deter my enjoyment of the game, because I know that's coming. And now I've realized how I could have made it easier. I will definitely do another playthrough of this game. I'll do it more casually. I'll do it with controller and see how much better I am at playing it. I might do a stream of it. I mean, like I said, I love this game. This game is fantastic. It's exactly what a remake should be. You know, none of this, like, Last of Us Part 1 bullcrap. You know, where, you know, they just You know, but to be fair, I keep shitting on The Last of Us. I don't mean to. You know what I mean? Because their whole thing was just to bring The Last of Us Part 1 into the Last of Us 2 graphics engine. So I kind of get that, really, when you think about it. But you know, and they didn't call it a remake. They called it Part 1, so they kind of thought they could get away with that. But the thing is, like I said, I think it was during my Sonic Origins playthrough and I ranted about it a little bit. I think they should have given us a discount. I don't think they should have selling us for 70 quid and we've owned the game twice. You know, and the changes to the game are minimal because the game is already sensational. Resident Evil 2005 was sensational, but they expanded on that, and I just, the control was definitely one of my favorite. The gameplay was definitely the best aspect of the game, away from the characters and the story. You know, the gameplay was sensational in this game, and everything just works. You know. Anyway, I'm going on a long outro here. I'm monologuing, but I love this game. This game is sensational. It's exactly how a remake should be done. It's a new standard for remakes, and I think it's just ahead of Resident Evil 2, just. And that's because Resident Evil 2 is still so special to me, because it gave me Sherry Birkin. It gave me the first character that I ever cared about in a video game sense. But Ashley Graham has shot up the order, let's say. She has shot up the order because her in this game, like I said, she's the best thing about it. Because they took a character that no one really thought really fondly of, apart from me. I didn't mind her too much. But they took a character, they revolutionized her for the better, and she's probably, for me, like I said, she's elevated to base status. You know, and Ashley is now kind of not really on the same level as Sherry, because Sherry is different. You know, Sherry was an 8-year-old, Ashley's a lot more, you know, a lot more fully grown and capable at that point. You know, Sherry was a little girl, but barely could do anything with the world going to shit around her. You know, it's very difficult for an 8-year-old, and that's why her relationship with Claire is so special, because of that. You know, Ashley's a lot. The circumstances are really different, but at the same time, Ashley, like I said, she's elevated for me. And do you know what? If they remake RE5, go for it. I would love to play it, because now Capcom know. Capcom can take if this is how a remake of RE4 can be done, could you imagine RE5, how different that game would be? I would so fucking buy that. I loved RE5, the original, anyway, so that would be an added incentive. But can you imagine the gameplay of this game in RE5 in co-op with the Lost in Nightmares DLC and the Desperate Escape DLC? Put those in, please, Capcom. If you do that, please put those in. I want those DLCs. I love them, especially the Lost in Nightmares one. And the Mercenaries. And make that co-op as well. Put the co-op in the game. Put in Lost in Nightmares. Put in Desperate Escape. And just do exactly what you did with this game. You don't have to change a thing. Keep the gameplay the same. The story, change it and make it better like you did here. And add all the stuff that made RE5 for me personally cool. If they have to take the co-op to do that, then fine. I'll accept that. But I would just love it if they put the co-op in the game. And myself and Tommy Games would certainly fucking do that. But I think Code Veronica will come first. I think it will. I think Code Veronica will come first. I think that has been probably in the planning since RE3 remake, to be honest. So I think Code Veronica is going to come first, and I think it's probably going to be in about a year or two. But also maybe Capcom are still continuing the this is part of the mainstream series, but you know what I mean. They're going to make a new game, Resident Evil 9. You know, a kind of, yeah, they're going to probably do that. So that's probably going to come first, and then there's going to be a remake of Code Veronica, and maybe they'll do RE5. And hell, maybe they'll even do RE6. I would fucking take that as well. And can you imagine Sherry Birkin in RE6, man? Oh my god. Oh man, that would be great. Considering what they did with Ashley in this game. RE6, with Sherry's development and her capability, is that the right word? You know, her growth and everything that was sadly off screen for a lot of the time. With the writing, this game's writing was the best thing about it, one of the best things about it for me. There was so much I loved about this game. The writing, the gameplay, Ashley's whole change in character. Just, wow. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. I'm going on a monologue. I'm sorry, but I think the long and short of it is, I fucking loved this game. Despite my frustrations with it, they were more for me on a personal level that wasn't detriment to my experience with the game, if that makes any sense. Does it make sense? Hopefully it does. Anyway, yeah, it's late here, sorry. I will go, and I will be back with more stuff. I hope that Resident Evil 5 remake is a tease. I hope it comes to the future, but if it doesn't, I'm very happy with the original game anyway. You know, I wouldn't mind, but I think Code Veronica, like I said, I think that will be next. And I think it'd be great to see Claire and Chris in an updated version of Code Veronica, especially with all the great things that were about the remake since Resident Evil 2. You know, the updates, the story, the character changes and all that. And just take everything in this game and put it in RE5 then, if that's what you're going to tease. But, interesting. I wonder if they'll go through with him. I'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I'm off, and I will see you guys soon for more stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough as much as I did. Will I do Dead Space Remake? I'm thinking about it. But I'm still not doing The Last of Us Part 1 because there's nothing really different about that game. From what I've seen of Dead Space Remake, and I did see a bit of it, what I have seen of Dead Space Remake is exactly like this one. Like, the core essence of the game is the same, but the story differs in ways that make it cool. So, I'll probably check Dead Space Remake out. If it comes on EA Play, then I'll probably definitely check it out, but I don't think it will because it's made by a completely different development team to the original Dead Space. The Last of Us Part 1, I'm still going to do the remastered because it's just the fact that nothing really changed about the game. But it didn't... The thing is, like I said, it didn't need to change anyway. So I don't know what the point was of doing it. You know? And that's why I love this game in particular. And that's why I'm quite excited for Dead Space Remake. Playing it wise. But I've obviously just come off Dead Space 1 about a year or so back. And of course I've got to do Dead Space 3 with Time Lady Games. So that won't be coming for some time. But I'm thinking about it. And I'm very itching to do it. I'll be back with this game. The Mercenaries DLC is April 7th, I believe. So I'll probably come back to this and see what they do with it. It'll be quite interesting to check out for a bit. I might go back to the original RE4 and maybe do the other stuff as well. But I don't... Do I even want to play that anymore? After how good this game was? I don't know. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm monologuing. But I'll see you guys for more stuff in the future. You guys know what to do. Follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'm Mr. Big Chaos. I'm signing off till next time. As always, guys, stay safe and stay awesome. Peace out. I'm signing off.